Hello, this is Brenda Green, and I'd like to welcome you to Living in the Go. Are you prepared? This is a topic that I've thought long and hard about. I actually wrote a blog about it maybe a year or two ago because it was on my mind, and I was thinking maybe it's something that you need to be thinking about as well. So, there are many things that need preparation. Retiring is certainly at the top of my list, and all the things that come with it. But there may be other things that you are unprepared for and you should start thinking about today. So let's get started. The topics that I want to cover are: how much do I need to retire? Are you waiting for the right time? That just means a procrastinator. We all have a little bit of that in us. The what if scenario. What if this happens? What do I do? How do you negotiate? And lastly, how do you get ready? So, how much do I need to retire? I was thinking, do I have enough money to retire? Will I outlive the money that I have? Will Social Security be around for me? Will the benefits be reduced? Is my housing adequate or affordable? Stairs or one level for those golden years? Driving or public transportation? Are there things in my life that will keep me busy? These are all the things that preparation will help me to answer and maybe reduce some of my anxiety. I'm not very anxious now because I put a lot of things into place, but these are some of the things that you need to think about. What about waiting for the right time? So people will say, well, I can get around to getting that insurance, so I don't need life insurance for this right now. Nothing's going to happen to me. Making out a will. Is there a right time for that? I've even heard that some people say that if I do a will, it's a jinx. If I make a will out, I'm gonna die. Well, yeah, okay. Saving for retirement. There's always time. Buying a car. The one I have is working, it's doing okay. Maybe later. Saving for your kids' college fund. Buying a house. If you don't prepare, then you're a procrastinator and you hope things will work out. I talk about these situations all the time. People don't get life insurance or they don't save for retirement because they think there's always time. Sometimes they buy houses or cars they can't afford because they didn't really prepare. They didn't do the research to understand the consequences. They don't set goals because they think it requires some form of discipline. But the reality is that it gives you a path to follow. So do those things. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is now. Now, the what ifs. What if I lose my job tomorrow? What if I have a car accident? What if I become seriously ill? What if my car breaks down? What if a tree falls on my house? Now, some of these things may seem like, oh, I don't know if those are going to happen to me. I listed those because they actually did happen to me. I kid you not. I was in a training session one time. I had about 40 people in the room doing this presentation, and there was a big storm outside. All of a sudden, windows crashed in, the roof crashed in, debris, things everywhere. So it's no joke in terms of what if those situations do happen. Losing your job, I've been laid off 4 times. So it does happen. The first time it happened, I thought, oh, am I going to be out on the streets by the end of the month? What am I going to do? Those are the what ifs, and those are the things that run through your mind when you're not prepared. If I need to buy a car, will the interest rate be too high because I have bad credit? Preparation answers those questions for you. Being prepared is saving at the least at the end of each month. Take something from your income, having that money in there so if you lose a job, you can make it through. So this is a small thing because you really need to save. You really need to have situations put in place for you so you are mentally prepared. It's the mental that really drives you crazy with the what ifs. Because if you're not prepared, you're always thinking about what if this situation happens to me. So put your mind at ease. Put some things in place for those what ifs. Now, negotiating. I believe we should negotiate on just about everything. For example, buying a car, it requires some research, hopefully, that you don't just go to a lot and say, I want this. Well, I know people who do that, but you shouldn't. Do the research. First thing to do is to check your credit score before you go out to buy a car. Don't let the car dealer and you have the same surprise on your face when you pull that credit bureau. It's not a good look. Being prepared means having a story to tell to address that credit situation. So if you do have bad credit, be able to talk about it and negotiate, because there is a possibility. I went car shopping with a client once. His credit was so bad, and the first thing they offered was 18%. And I was like, oh, that's just unacceptable. And he was saying, well, the credit is so bad here. We sat and we negotiated. We were there for 2 hours, but we got the rate down to 9%. It's doable, it's possible. Just be prepared with your story. It means knowing what you can and cannot afford too when you're negotiating. Sometimes we have those champagne tastes, but we have a beer budget. Be prepared to walk away or even start over. But remember, everything is negotiable. Houses, furniture, and especially if you pay with cash. I don't like to pay full price for anything, so I always ask. I lose nothing by doing that. So how do we get ready? Well, first, define your retirement. You probably have some idea of how you'd like to spend your retirement. Here's where you write your objectives down. You list the most important goals first. So let's focus on that budget. Focus on ideas to be specific in terms of what you want to do when you retire. For example, instead of just writing, I want to travel, be very specific. Maybe I want trips to the lake. Maybe I want to go on walking tours of foreign countries. Put it all down. Instead of saying, I want to stay involved in my community, write down what you want to do. Do you want to volunteer with kids? Do you want to pack food for the homeless? Be specific. The next thing you should do is to take stock of your assets. You know how much money you need to bring in each month. So how much do you have in the bank right now? How much will be in your retirement accounts when you do decide to leave work? But you also might have some non-traditional assets that can help you fund your retirement. Maybe you have a side hustle. Maybe you drive Uber, or maybe you cater food. All of those things count. So take stock of those and be prepared to add that into your list. You also need to evaluate your health. So to get the most out of your retirement and life in general, you want to be as healthy as possible. And nobody really enjoys going to the doctor, but a little preventative maintenance will certainly help you. Pay attention. And if there are things that are going on right now, get those things in order. Talk to your doctor, because no one wants to be unhealthy when you retire. You want to be mobile. You want to be able to stride around, go to those different places, enjoy yourself. So look at your health now. You also need to determine when to collect Social Security. I heard that the majority of people, when they hit 62, they do a quick grab and they take their Social Security at that moment. You lose so much money by doing that. It'd be nice if you had saved and invested enough to enjoy your financial freedom, but if you didn't, then you need to make plans. Most of us will need Social Security benefits, so you want to make sure that it has enough in there to pay your basics and support your retirement dreams. So the age in which you retire and start collecting Social Security will have a direct impact on how much money you get monthly. The longer you wait, the greater the benefit for you and your family. You also need to find out ways to cut your expenses, and you might start doing that right now. Your retirement may be right around the corner or years from now, but regardless, saving more now will always make you better prepared. That doesn't mean cut all your extra cash, but some things you can look at to cut those expenses. Start by listing your bills. and then figure out ways to trim them. Maybe you don't need 100 cable channel or to eat out 3 nights a week. Even cutting one movie night a month can bring you closer to your retirement goals. And create a budget. I know people hate that word budget, it's like a dirty word, but trust me, it helps. Your budget needs to include how much money is coming in, how much it will cost to reach the goals that you identified, and how much debt that you have. I firmly believe that when people go into retirement, they should be debt-free. No credit card debt, no car debt. You might still have a mortgage, but cut all those other things out. I promise you it will help in the long run. Now, the what-if scenario, you need to be prepared for the unexpected. Few of us expect the worst, but sometimes it happens. Preparing for the unexpected now will help you so that you're not caught off guard later. You can't get out of life without something happening. Unfortunately, I don't know anybody who had a charmed life and nothing has ever happened to them. So you want to take time to consider how you'd pay for or respond to anything and everything, from minor issues like a roof leak to serious ones like a grave illness. You need to be prepared for those things. We can't predict what's going to happen, but the more scenarios that you put into place to make you ready, the better it'll be. Discuss big issues with your family or the people closest to you. How are you going to make major repairs? Do you have enough insurance to cover things that might happen? Those are ways to help you to get ready. What would you want to do? Let's say if you were gravely ill, how would you want to be cared for? Those are things that you could discuss with your loved ones. Make sure you have adequate insurance on your car, your house, your apartment, even health insurance. Those are ways that you can always be ready. Start an emergency fund and make it a priority. A little bit goes a long way. If you have no money at all, then maybe next month you have $100 saved. Then maybe the next month you put another $50 in there. Make it a habit, make it consistent, and before you know it, you have that emergency fund. I always tell people to live below your means. So if you make $30,000 a year, then live like you make 20 and stick to it. It may be tough in the beginning, but it will help you so much. So if you think you're ready to, let's say, buy a house, here's what I want you to do. Total up all the costs, and those costs include the mortgage, property insurance, taxes, utilities. Put everything in the bank over your rent. So let's say your rent is $1,000 a month, but the housing costs if you buy a house are going to be $1,300 a month. So put an extra $300 in the bank and act like it's not there. If you can do that for 3 months without going under, then you might be ready to buy a house. People forget and people think that, oh, the only thing I have to do is worry about my mortgage. Owning a house is so much more. So you need to consider that, and that will help you to be ready. Now, as always, I do have my beliefs about being prepared. So here goes. If you don't prepare, then you're leaving your life to chance or your crazy relatives. I can't tell you how many people have had a loved one die and everything was up in chaos. They didn't know where the will was, if there even was a will. They didn't know who got what. People were coming in saying things were promised to them. People get crazy. So prepare. We all know someone who is superstitious about making a will, and I mentioned that. Their thought is that if you prepare a will, then you're going to die. Well, guess what? You're going to die anyway. So make out a will. Preparation means having a plan, and any plan is better than no plan. Don't leave it to chance. I know a person who passed away, had no will, no nothing really, and everything in their estate went into probate, meaning that instead of it being just a minor thing and people knowing what needed to be done, the state decided how the money should be allocated. You don't want that. Procrastination is draining. It's always there. It becomes a chore just thinking about it because we don't want to do things and we wait and we wait and we wait. But you're always thinking about it. It's in the back of your mind. Maybe it's fear that keeps you procrastinating. I don't know. Take that first step. Do one small thing, then the next small thing. Things happen all the time that we don't see coming because this is life and no one escapes. So embrace it and ready yourself. You sleep better and you wrinkle less when you have a plan. I'm not kidding, because your face is all scrunched up, you're worrying, you're stressing. When you don't have those things, you do sleep a lot better. I'll tell you, I don't have wrinkles because sometimes I worry about things, but I put things in place, I put things in motion, and there you go. I sleep much better. Don't wait another day without making some preparations. Baby steps. If this is something that you haven't been thinking about because you think you're young and you have all the time in the world, well, young people go too. Things happen to young people, and I have seen that. So don't wait another day. Do one small thing today. Do it for yourself. As always, I'd like to thank you so much for your time and attention. I do these videos for you because I care. I want everyone to have these wonderful, amazing lives. I want you to have the life that you should live. I want you to have enough money to do the things that you want to do. I want you to be generous, to be able to share with people. So I'm starting this movement. Spread the word. Tell people about this site. I want people to enjoy, to be prosperous. So thank you again and have a great and special day. And please subscribe.